Hi, welcome to my channel Ruby Net Crochet Tejido. In this video I'm going to teach you how to knit this beautiful sleeveless cardigan. I already crochet one and I had some requests and how to knit one, and here it is. I absolutely love this one. I try it on and I love it. Perfect for fall, winter and spring. It's really easy to do. I hope you guys like it and give it a try, and here is the list of material you're gonna need to make it. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe and click on the little bell, that way you get notification each time I upload a video. Remember, I make my videos in Spanish and English. If you receive a Spanish video and you want to see an English, go to the main page of my YouTube channel that you will find the English version in there. Also I have a playlist, Ruby Stedman English tutorial, and I have all my English video in there. To make this cardigan I'm gonna use this yarn. They are Bernat Mix Home. The color is Foliage. It's super bulky 6. They recommend 8mm knitting needles, and is 60% acrylic, 18% cotton, 13% nylon, 7% wool, 2% polyester. 225 grams each. I have 4 of these. I don't know how many I'm gonna use, and they look like this. And the netting needles that I'm gonna use, these 9mm, and you're gonna need a round counter or row counter. That way you keep track of the rows that you do on one side. You need to do exactly the same amount in the other side. And for the back, and you're gonna need measurement tape if you want to use measurement tapes, and you're gonna need as well a circular netting needle for the color, because we have to work circular. I'm gonna use 2 of the safety pin to pin together in what I cast on the stitches for the color, and tapestry needle and scissors. I wanted to show you the circular needle that I'm gonna use. They are from my Chiago set. This one. In the description box below is the link where I bought those. They're a little pricey, but it's an investment because they are absolutely amazing, and this will last you forever, these needles. And they are size 9, the same as the straight needle. This is the type of cardigan that I'm gonna do. This one is made crochet. I'm gonna leave the link here. You're gonna see an eye. You click on the eye, it will bring you to the one crochet. It's exactly the same design but knitted. I already done one of the pieces. I love the way it look with this type of yarn. In some places it go in more than others, but I still absolutely love it. Once I sew it here, it will go sideways like this, open, and it is gorgeous. The combination of different texture, color, yarn, and look amazing. Like this. This is the part for the color, for the overlap in the front, and I'm gonna give you the measurement. The good thing about this is that you working with a bulky 6 yarn is really fast. I only have here 26 stitches and all done in a net stitch, so very easy. So I'm gonna measure the width of this is 30 centimeters. And that is 12 inches, the width. The length from the collar in here is 49 centimeters, and that is 19 inches and a quarter. And from here, from the shoulder, that is 21 and a half inches, and that is almost 55 centimeters long. And this part here is 2.5 inches, and that is 6.5 centimeters on the shoulder. So I start doing this with a medium 4 yarn, and it takes forever. So at halfway I decided to change it to a bulkier yarn because it's faster, because for the recording it will take too long to do it with a thinner yarn. With this it's nice, easy and fast, and I love the look. I love the look of this different texture. So I started with this one, and here I have in total 86 rows, And in the pink one I have 72. And look at the difference. It take forever. You can do it with medium 4 yarn, but it will take longer. I absolutely love this hot pink because it has a shine to it as well. But I'm gonna frog this and use it for a crop sweater. That will be easier and faster. But I absolutely love this. It's the same color on my phone. So I'm gonna cast on my 26 stitches and we're gonna work on this piece. To figure out the amount of stitches that you need to cast on for yours, you're gonna do a cast on and then you're gonna measure on yourself. For example, for this one I cast on 26 stitches and it's from the base of my neck from this side to the arm opening and here. Okay, so those are the 26 stitches. Remember, these have an overlap here and the front, like so, and that's how it looks in the front. So for example, if you're using the same type of thick yarn like mine and you want to do this a little bit larger, you can increase 4 stitches to 30. That will be much bigger. And if you want this smaller, you can decrease 4 stitches and it will be much smaller. But you can do something else, and instead of changing the amount of stitches, you can change the size of your needles. For example, I'm using size 9mm. For a smaller size, you can use 8mm, and for a bigger size, you can use a 10mm. Only by changing the size of your needle, your stitches will be smaller or bigger. That depends the yarn that you're I'm gonna start leaving a tail long enough for my 26 stitches. And remember, I'm working with super bulky yarn 6. That's why only 26 stitches. So if you're working with a medium 4 yarn like this one, here I have 40 stitches, and this is for a medium size cardigan. If you want to make these smaller, you can remove 5 stitches, do 35. Or if you want a bigger, you can do 45, 50 stitches. So that depends on the width that you want for this. If you're working with a thinner yarn, the same. If you're working with the bulky 5, you can do like 24 for a smaller size. And if you want a large, you can do 30 stitches. And that counts as the first stitch. Now you're going to continue casting on in your needle until you have the desired amount of stitches for your cardigan. Here I have my 26 stitches. I'm gonna do another secure, and I'm gonna measure this needle just in case you're wondering the length of these ones. These ones are from the tip to the end 10 inches, and that is 15.5 centimeters, just in case. So now I go knit, and this one will be row 1, the one where you have the tail in the front. It's important to know because sometimes you are going back and forth and sometimes you forget to mark that you've done the row. So I'm gonna knit my first one and I will place my marker. I already have them in 0, and I'm gonna knit until the end. This is very easy to do because you're gonna just knit back and forth, but you have to keep track in the row because you want the same amount that you do in this one. You have to do it in the next one, and you have to keep track as well for the back, for the amount you need for the back. So you're gonna continue knitting all the way until the end. It's a very easy piece to do. And remember, if you want to do some pockets, you have to do a little bit longer, but if you don't want pockets, you don't have to do it as long. once you finish your first row of knit, you're gonna continue netting back and forth. It's very easy to do this cardigan because any beginner can do it. If you know how to knit, you can knit these pieces. So for this one, I have to work for 75 rows. That's what I did for this piece that I already have here. And like I mentioned, this one measures 19 inches. And if you want to do some pockets, you have to do 21 and a half or longer, otherwise the pockets will be too high up. For this one, I don't want to do pockets like I did for my crochet one. And remember, depending on your height is the length that you're going to give to this as well. You have to measure it yourself. For this one, I did 75 row from the border to here. If you're working with medium for yarn, I don't have the amount of row that you're going to do, but the measurements you can do guide for yourself by the measurement. You can do from 19, 20 or more, depending on the length that you want your cardigan, okay? So I just had to knit for 75 rows for mine, and then I will measure here. So it's very easy. Here I have my 75 rows. Now in number 76, I'm gonna cast off some stitches. When you're doing your pieces, you have to do the cast off in different rows, because if I show you in this one that I've already done, in the lower border in the beginning, you see in this part is like this with a really nice finish, but in the other side you get this. So you want to have them both looking the same. You don't want to have one with the border like this and the other one with the border like that. You see, it's not like crochet that you can have, reversible. This one, for the border, you have to have them the same. So for this one, I cast off my stitches in row 76, and it is in this side. But for the other one, I have to cast off my stitches that is in this side. That way, when I overlap them in the front, they look both the same and the lower part, so like this. So the tail will both go to the same side, like that. Okay, that way it's nice and even in the lower part. So if you're making, I'm putting away the wrong one. If you're making these with a different size yarn, you have to do different amount of cast off for the front. For mine, I'm gonna cast off 14 and leave 12 for the shoulder. Let me grab this to show you. You have to cast off and measure in yourself. So I have this. So you'll have to, let's say this is your neck, and you have to measure it like this from one side to the other of your neck. This is stretch. So I look small here, but that's stretch. So you see, because the overlap will be this part in the front when we start casting on the stitches for the color. So you have to measure on yourself that you leave this space from the base in one side to the other, not too much like this, because otherwise it will be almost off the shoulder and your color will look weird. So it have to be right from the base one side to the other one. Okay, when you cast off the front stitches to separate the shoulder part. So for the cast off, so I had to do 14, and you're gonna do it from row 76 if you're using the same type of yarn. The bulk is 6, but maybe you're using more, so you have to work longer. And you can do the cast off in the first one either in an even row or an odd row. So if you're doing an even row like I'm doing this one, the next one has to be in the odd number row, and if you're doing the odd, the first one, the next one has to be in the even. So you're gonna cast off 2 stitches, so you're gonna knit 2, and the first one you're gonna pass it over the second one nice and loose. You don't want this to be too tight. And the next one is better loose than too tight. And you're gonna knit the next one and pass it over, and like that you're gonna cast off your stitches. For mine is 14, leaving 12 for the shoulder. So I'm gonna frog this, and I'm gonna show you how you're gonna do for the second piece. For the first one I did 12 rows for the shoulder. So I cast off the 14 stitches in row 76. So in 76 you did the 12 stitches, so that's row 1 for the shoulder. So I did from 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, and in 86 I cast off my stitches. And here. So you have to do the same for the other one, the same 12 rows for the shoulder. So in this one you have to do 1 extra row completely to the end in order to cast off the stitches in the opposite side. So in the other one I did row 75, and in 76 I cast off my 14 stitches. But for this one I'm gonna knit my entire row 76, and in 77 I will cast off my 14 stitches. But 76 is already you are working those 12 stitches. So that's row 1 of the shoulder, 77 will be 2, and so on. You have to do the same amount of rows for the shoulder, that way it's the same length. That's what gives you the length to the piece, because you do extra row in the shoulder and then this one will be bigger. So you have to keep that in mind. So you're only gonna have 1 extra row in the front, but when you do the neck, the collar, you don't gonna have extra length in the front because you have the same amount of rows for the shoulder. I hope you understand that explanation, okay? So I'm gonna continue working row 76 all the way until the end, all my 26 stitches, and this is already my first row of the shoulder, row 76, like the other one. You did your 12 stitches after you cast off, but this one is already you working those 12 stitches. So in the way back in 77 we're gonna cast off the 14 stitches and do the second row of the shoulder. I finished row 76 and I removed the marker because I'm gonna work in row 77 and the marker is at the beginning, and so I'm gonna cast off my stitches. I need to remove the marker in order to do that. When I cast off my 14 stitches, and then I will place the marker in the odd number rows. So again, exactly the same as I show you. You're gonna knit the first one, knit the second one, and pass the first one over in the second one, and like so. When you have 12 left, I will meet you here. And I wanted to mention, when you cast off your 14 stitches, you'll have 11 stitches in this one and 1. So I cast off my 14 stitches, I have 11 in here and 12 in this one, but this is very quick to do. So I'm gonna place my marker again because I'm working in the odd number row. So I'm gonna continue working these 11 stitches. I will turn my work around, knit those 12, and so on until row 85. In 86 I will meet you here to cast off our stitches, and that you have to do exactly the same for both pieces. You work until 85, 86, cast off. Here I have my 85 rows. So in 86 I'm gonna cast off or bind off my stitches, and that's for both of your front piece. You're gonna knit the first one and the second one, pass the second over. Exactly the same as you did in here, you're gonna do on the shoulder. And you're going to leave a tail long enough for sewing the shoulder, and the same way that you did the first piece you're going to start the second one, except the change on the part of the front. I already explained how to do both pieces. So I'm going to finish here, cut the yarn, and leave a tail for sewing. Once you finish the two pieces, they will look like this once you place them one on top of each other. So the size of this depends on the overlap that you in the front. Even for a bigger size cardigan, you can do the same amount of stitches with this yarn because you can do less overlap in the front, and that will give you a bigger size. Okay, so for mine it will be a complete overlap like so on the front. And once you do that and you sew the side and you put it on, this will open like this. Well, at least I hope, because it's quite big for me. So for the back, I'm gonna cast down 38 stitches. That is 12 for one shoulder plus the other 12 and the 14 for the center. So remember, if you're doing different size yarn, you do the amount that you left for one shoulder plus the other one and the one in the center. So for the one in the back, I'm gonna cast down 38 stitches and I'm gonna work straight for 82 to 83 rows. That way, when I have those rows, it will be around here. You see, it will be the color for the back higher. Probably I'll do 83 rows and it will be around here, and then I will work in one shoulder 84 and 85, 86 I'll cast off, 84 and 85 and the other one, and I will cast off the other side, and the color will be much higher in the back than the front. So I don't want to show you how to do that because it's exactly the same as I did the front piece. I'm gonna cast on, and instead of 26 I will cast on 38, and I will work straight for like a straight piece for 83 rows. If I do less, I will let you know. If I do more, I will let you know, but I will be around 83. Here I have my 83 rows. So now in 84 I will knit 12, I will cast off 14, and then I will work on this 12. So I will knit 84, 85 and 86. I remove the stitches, and then I will come back to the other side and I will attach the yarn and I work one more row and cast off in the next one. I have my 12 stitches here. Now I'm going to knit 13 and 14. And I'm going to pass 13 over 14. And now I'll continue casting off the rest of the stitches until I have 11 in this needle and 1 in the tip plus these 12. Here I have my 12 stitches in this side and 12 in this one for a total of 24. So now I'm going to continue working, knitting these stitches until the end. I will turn my work around, knit, and then the way back I will cast off or bind off, and then I will attach the yarn in this side and do the same from this side here, from the center out. I will do those 12 net stitches and come back with the cast off. If you look on this side of the sweater, you have this stitch. That's the first one that you bind off, but it's loose like that. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna place it back in here. I'm gonna knit those two together, that one and the first one. I'm gonna grab my yarn here and I'm gonna knit, and I'm gonna continue knitting all the stitches until the end, and then the way back I will cast off or bind off, and then once I'm gonna lose that in the inside, and when you cast on all the stitches for the color, once you finish, it will look like this. The back part, you see, the color part, it will be nice and high. And what I'm gonna do, this piece of yarn that I have here, that is a different type of strand, I'm gonna lose, and then with this one from the back, that is exactly the same as the one on the front, I'm gonna sew this shoulder. The same with this one. You see, I have this one that is just a little piece. I'm gonna lose this one, and I left one here long enough. Lose the other one. And with this one that is longer, I will sew the other shoulder, and I'm gonna leave here around 19 centimeters open for the arm, and then I'm gonna sew the rest nice and even in here in both sides. Loose the tails, and for the front, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna place a pin in this side and another one in this side, and with the circular needle I will cast on all the stitches all the way around. I will do the color, and after that I have done mine. If you want pockets, you will cast on around 14 stitches, that is this amount of stitches here, and you will work like a pocket around like this for one side, and the same for the other one, and you will sew it in here. But mine, this yarn is very bulky yarn, very thick. I don't need to add more thickness, more weight to it. So for mine, I don't want to do pocket. I just gonna do the sewing, the color, and that's it. I'm gonna lose the tail, and the same way that I did this side, I'm gonna do the other one. I'm gonna sew the side of the piece, leaving the armhole opening, and then I will meet you here to do the neck or collar. That was the way I did the sewing for the side. I used this yarn from this one in here. I did it in both sides with the same. And I don't want to secure my yarn in here. I left exactly the same, the other one on the other side, because first I want to work in the collar to close this here, work in the collar, and then I will try it on, and then I will know if the size of the arm opening is the right size. If it's too big, I will do a little bit more sewing, but if it's too small, I will undo some of the stitches, and if it's perfect, I will secure then the yarn in that place. For here, for the front, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do the overlap. You can do it either way, one way or the other. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna place this pin in here just to pin it together, and I'm gonna grab another pin, and I'm gonna do the same in this side in here. And when you do the casting on of the stitches in the front, you have to grab the front and back piece together. That way it will be nice and secure. And I'm gonna start from the back. I'm gonna do slip knot, and I use one of the ball of yarn almost completely for the back, and then now for this color I'm using one of the front ball of yarn that I still have some. So I'm gonna go around the center here. I did a slip knot. I'm gonna pass the slip knot. I'm gonna pass it through the needle. And I'm gonna do each stitch, and I'm gonna pull out a loop. Like this, all the way around. So remember, when you are doing the front, you have to pass through the front and back overlap. And I'm using a 6.5mm crochet hook for this. Forgot to mention that you're gonna need one. So like that, you're gonna continue all the way around. I'm gonna grab the front and the one in the back, pass that loop through both, and place it back on your needle. Go to the next one, find the next one in the back, pass that loop, bring it to the front, and place it on your knitting needle. And go to the next one, find the one in the back, making sure that you're grabbing both. Bring it to the front and pass that loop. Now you're gonna do that all the way around until the place where you start, and make sure that you have multiple of the stitches, because we're gonna do the seed stitch for the color. In total I have 56 stitches. I'm gonna place the marker, and in the first round I'm gonna knit one and purl the next one, knit the next one and purl, one knit, one purl, one knit, one purl. That's why I said you have to have multiple of 2. So you start with a knit and you're going to finish with a purl. I finished the first round. Now the second one, you're going to start with a purl. You're going to do now one purl, one knit, one purl, one knit, one purl, and one knit. So you're gonna do the repetition of those 2 rounds. The first round you start with a knit, and then you did one knit, one purl, one knit, one purl. The second one purl, one knit, and that's how you're gonna work all the way around. You have to keep track which round you're doing. That way it's easier if you are working with a yarn that is like these ones. Example, like this one in here, I don't want to know which one is the knit and the purl, so that's why it's good to have a round counter. That way you know which round you're working. So that's how you're going to work until you have the desired length. I'm going to do that for mine. I'm going to keep a track of the round. That way I'll let you know how many round I will do, and I will give you the measurements as well. But remember, it's a repetition of those 2 rounds. You start with a knit and a purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and then in the next one, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. And top of the knit you purl, and top of the purl you knit. For the color, I did 20 rounds, and number 21 I cast off a bind off, and I measure it from the front to here, and it's 6 inches 15 centimeters. Now if you want to do pockets, you will cast on You'll cast on from 14 to 20 stitches, and you will place it here around this size and here, and you also add them on. And you can use, if you have, for example, a bulky 6 Bernat yarn like this color in here, you can do it just one color pocket. It will look really nice. Sometimes they sell this yarn as well in a ball. For mine, no pocket, because this is a very bulky yarn. I don't want to add any more bulk to it. And I'm gonna try it on to see if the opening for the slip is good. If it is, I will lose all the tails and I will show you the end result. This is what I have left of the third ball of yarn. So you need 3, because you need 2 and a little over half at the second. I have 89 grams left. Remember, if you don't have this type of yarn, but you like the way mine look, you can combine different textured yarn as long as they are the same thickness, like bulky 6 like this one. If you have one that is a little bit thinner, you can combine 2 strands and you can recreate something like this if you don't can find this type of yarn, because I absolutely love this piece. Look really really nice. The way I look with this different. Well, this is the end result, and absolutely love this cardigan. I try it on and it feels amazing and look amazing. It's perfect for fall, winter, spring. Absolutely love it. And I hope you guys like it, and give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you are not already a subscriber. And if you make this beautiful cardigan and you want to send me some picture, you can do it through my Facebook page, Ruby Nail Crochet Tejido, or my Instagram, Ruby Nail Crochet Tejido. Please share my video with friends and family. That way you help me grow here on YouTube. I wish you have a beautiful day. Bye.